let the hogs out.
This is Hog Planet, and fuck, that took 3 takes to do. I'm very upset right now. We're starting the show with some very negative energy, Sam. This is Dan Spaventa, and I tried 3 times to get that intro right on the fucking Zoom so the video would look normal. Anyway, so how's everybody doing? We have Sam Lewis, co-host as always. Sam, what's up?
I mean, I'm fine, but my tooth is about to pop out of my head. It was broken off on a piece of crusty bread below the gum line. I'm not a happy camper, but I'm soldiering through.
We appreciate you for podcasting through the pain. We are also joined tonight by our good pal and former guest on the Children of Men episode from earlier in quarantine, Andrew DiMola. Andrew, he's got hair that looks like I said he looks like Dave Grohl or something.
Who's the actor who the protagonist of Children of Men? Did he have long? No, he had short hair, right?
He had short hair. It was Clive Owen's what was his name? I want to say Munich, but that's a movie.
I was gonna say Edgar, but it's definitely not right. We did a whole episode on this movie.
I'm not bad with names, but I remember that Michael Caine is Jasper.
Yeah, he's the most important character. He's honestly probably the main character. Andrew, I was gonna say you've got the perfect level of Aragorn grime going on right now. I think you're.
Thank you.
I think you're skating a thin line. I mean, as someone who shows up regularly with weird bedhead to this video podcast, I think you're doing the show quite an honor.
Oh, thanks. I just took a shower, and sometimes after you take a shower, it gets a little bit messy. But
I've been there.
I'm just thrilled that you both remember me from the Children of Men episode. You could see how I was beaming as I rediscovered that too.
Dan had to remind me a few times, but still.
I mean, you're right. He did do the show in the pandemic.
Yeah. I was gonna say too. My one friend says I look a lot like Alan Rickman Snape from Harry Potter.
Sure.
No. So if I'm
that's not a friend if he's saying that to you.
Mr. Potter. All right. So sorry about the triple redo on the intro, guys. I hope you can forgive me, and the rest of the show will hopefully not be as technically inept.
The third time I got the recording consent message pop up, I did want to click leave meeting, but I mean, I guess I could put up with it for another time, third time.
The first 2 times you said fuck, and then we stopped recording. Then you said the same exact thing, and I almost said something, held myself together. That didn't ruin it. We almost had to do it again.
Oh my God. Okay.
The thing is, Dan would have blamed it on you when it's not your fault.
No, it's all my fault. All right, look, we got Eric Adams, New York City mayor. It's Andrew Yang lost. He can go fucking sulk off into the fucking moonlight. But we have the cop lover, the cop himself, Eric Adams, has won the New York City mayor's race. It seems. I don't know if it's finally done. Bill de Blasio's sanitation commissioner, Catherine Garcia, was the next closest vote getter, I believe. Any comments on this, guys? Because honestly, I'm just over it. We thought de Blasio was bad. This is going to be so much worse. It's like Republican de Blasio, but maybe he won't do the annoying stuff, get driven to the gym in Brooklyn from the Upper East Side, but he's just going to fund the police way more.
Yeah, I've been really enjoying this drawn out mayoral race because I like laughing at New Yorkers, having fled the area with my tail between my legs for many years now. But I don't know, Eric Adams. I mean, you got what you deserved a little too much here. I think it kind of sucks. I mean, if you had
It's
gotten
a little on
Yang,
the nose.
it's way too on the nose. A guy who lives in like Fort Lee, New Jersey, who's like, I was beat up by the cops, and so I became a cop, is now your mayor. Like, come on, man. I don't know. Gigantic L. How does it look from Wilmington, Andrew, as a former New York resident yourself?
And Andrew is in Wilmington, Delaware, to be clear. I'm in New York, and Sam is in his battle station in Washington, D.C.
Although there's a bigger Wilmington. I think it's Wilmington, North Carolina or something. Every time you try and search it, which for me it sounds ridiculous because Delaware, Wilmington is all I know. I don't have any complaints about.
But people know Andrew Yang down there, right? As there must have been.
Yeah, we're not like the deep south. It's just it's Delaware. It's literally over New Jersey border. Like it connects to New Jersey.
Okay.
Some people don't know that. They're like, where's Delaware?
This race, Andrew, or are we ready to move on here?
I mean, honestly, come on, growing up in the tri-state area, anything below like Rutgers is like the South to me, honestly. Even South Jersey, come on. That's, I don't know. Philadelphia. It's a countrified atmosphere down there. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, someone was like, you North Jerseyers think that like New Jersey is only like midway and up. And I'm like, no, I think it's only like the 10 miles around where I grew up and up.
Andrew,
giving me too much credit.
As a fellow Andrew, were you sad to see Andrew Yang lose?
You know, I always pull for the Andrews, so it was a really hard hit for me. He's the technocrat candidate, which is, I guess, always sort of interesting for me, being like the tech person. But I didn't really have a horse in this race.
No, and better off that way because it fucking sucked.
Right.
Well, I actually, speaking of Eric Adams living in New Jersey but being elected mayor of New York, I got jury duty for New Jersey, but I live in New York. Now this is an outrage.
I mean, are you gonna go?
No, I'm gonna call. I don't live there.
Can you say that live?
Can I say yes?
Officer,
can I say live? I'll read out the number. I wrote down the number to call.
Well, the new mayor is an officer of the law, so he could take you in.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
The system has failed. The president of Haiti has been killed.
Great transition, dude. just a fucking nuclear transition right there.
Sam, what's this fella's name?
This is the part where Dan asks me to pronounce anything that has like 3 or more syllables. And of course, it's in French, or, not even like, Haitian Creole. I don't know how to fucking say this. Anyway, I believe is Jovenel Moise.
Oh, yeah, that's what I've been hearing on the YouTube. So that sounds correct.
I mean, if it's on YouTube, it can't be wrong.
Exactly.
But yeah, so this guy was like, he's been supported by like the US government, kind of propped up for a while. He is unfortunately kind of a cliched Haitian head of state who will not leave when his term is up or when he loses an election or whatever else is going on. So yeah, the fact that he's assassinated is weird for that reason, but also because the people who assailed him are just, the only descriptor is that they were speaking Spanish, which isn't unusual. Most people in Haiti do speak Spanish. It's on the same island as the Dominican Republic. They
claim to be DEA agents, right?
Yeah, U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency agents, which apparently that's a common ruse if you're trying to do an assassination, is to say you're the DEA, which is either like, does the U.S. government have the DEA do these sorts of things? I think that's totally possible, but it's either that or it's just a trope, which is kind of funny, but
was I completely ignorant to immediately just assume like, oh yeah, the United States like hired Blackwater to do this or something, just because it was like Haiti and the history there, the Jacobins,
Sure, you would be within your rights to assume the U.S. just like assassinated a foreign leader because it's a common occurrence. But I think with this, in this case, he was actually supported by quietly by the U.S. government in several material ways. So the fact that he was assassinated, I mean, if the U.S. is playing 12-dimensional chess, or if this is like some kind of case of blowback, we won't know for a while because this is like breaking today. But yeah, very shocking development. I believe his wife Martine,
as of recording, his wife is in what condition? She's in critical condition. She got shot as well.
Yeah, she was attacked as well, and so she's in Miami receiving treatment. And as of a few hours ago, she was still alive. But I mean, that could change by the time this gets up. So who knows?
So there were a couple of news bites that I was looking at earlier, and so there's like so many different possibilities for why he was assassinated. Starting from just the U.S. government is a safe one to just like gangs he was rival gangs he was collaborating with, like in Haiti, and it seems like so. One, he was supposed to step out of power on February 7th or something like that, but then he wants to stay an extra year and had been staying since February because of electoral fraud in the last election. I don't know if you could say it's an election. I don't really know too much about that, but he basically was staying longer than his term limit. And then in addition, the PM, who I assume was a rival to him, there's going to be a new PM next week. And so, like, could the prime minister have had something to do with it because he was about to be ousted? Was it the government? Was it just like a gang that he was working with internally? I don't know. It could be anything.
Yeah, it's way too early to tell at this point.
Yeah.
But
this is kind of breaking news as we record. So,
but yeah, I mean, just definitely a crazy development, and it's definitely like one of the most annoying takes I frequently see whenever there's like some kind of news like this out of the Caribbean is people saying like, oh, it's just a shame that this happens like all the time in Haiti. It's like, no, this doesn't just happen all the time. Shut the fuck up. Like, this is still a momentous occasion just because it fits in with like a long tradition of, political violence, which stems from, I mean, the fact that, they were never going to let Haiti have a chance in the 19th century when, a bunch of slaves freed themselves. Like there was no way it was going to be allowed to develop the normal kind of structures it would need to succeed, especially as like a small island nation, isolated from every other major economy. So, I mean, like in that regard, definitely you could say it's not out of line with like with political tradition in Haiti, unfortunately, but it's still frustrating just like write off as like, oh, this happens like every other week. Like, no, it doesn't. This is still a momentous thing.
Yeah. I was looking on whether you want to trust Reddit and whether you want to trust the Haiti subreddit, I was just seeing like what people are talking about in the mega thread there. And a lot of people who claim, they are in Haiti right now, which you can never know whether someone is telling the truth or not. But they were saying like, no, we're just like fucking scared for our lives right now. We would rather this not have happened because there's so much unrest. Like it shouldn't be like, this doesn't happen every week, like you were saying.
Yeah, and it's exacerbated by the natural disasters that happened in Haiti in the last 10 years that it's still struggling to recover from. So I don't know. Yeah, it's a shame when like there's a complicated situation like this, and then it splashes over into like mainstream news, and then like any jackass has the ability to comment on it. I mean, I guess I want people to know, but then the way it gets like turned around and people who don't have any appreciation of the situation start just kind of like shooting from the hip on it. I'm just like, all right, we don't need to do this.
Yeah, it's funny to hear them talk about this on stuff like the Today Show or something, But we're talking complicated. Let's talk simple. Sam wrote a great Substack article about Rudy losing his law license. Rudy Giuliani stripped of his law license. And Sam, anything to say about that piece? It was very well received, aside from perhaps some anti-Italian bigotry.
Well, that's par for the course. I'm outnumbered here. I mean, these paisans are on the show with me. They're screaming, they're hurling like anti-Semitic epithets at me. I have to defend myself any way I can. Jewish. But sure. Anyway, I wrote the Substack just to highlight the fact that this is an occasion. Talking about momentous occasions for sure. This is similar to when Trump was kicked off of like every social media platform, and you don't know what you got till it's gone. And I think that's the case with Rudy's law license. I think recently, this isn't in the piece, but just off the dome here, I think also he's losing it in DC because I think he was admitted here as well. And they're like, well, if New York's doing it, I guess we might as well. And yeah, so I mean, it's the end of an era. We had like the drunk Michigan lady who was saying that like, the voter ballots are all fucked up. And like Rudy really had a good run embarrassing himself in like every court in all the battleground states this past year or so. So I don't know. I mean, pour some out for the homie, and let's just try to
read about it at hogplanet.substack.com, right?
Yeah, I think that's the URL. That's the way to do it.
And subscribe to get those emails dropped straight in your inbox of Sam's writing, because
that's true.
They are very good.
Is there like a bigger punchline than Rudy Giuliani lately? I mean, like, what? Such a
after the Borat thing, I just was like, and he like farted in the courtroom. I was just like, this is the hair dye. Like, we could go on and on and on, but I mean,
we don't have to.
No,
he's kind of unparalleled right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
He was the comic relief at the end of the Trump year, because Trump is like funny, but sometimes it's like a dark kind of biting satire. It's a little too Dr. Strange love from my taste. Whereas with Rudy, it was just nonstop laughs, like pretty low stakes too. I mean, you knew none of those like lawsuits were going to go anywhere near a judge that was willing to like take it seriously. So it didn't matter at all, unlike what Trump did and does. So either way, I mean, RIP to a legend. That's all I have to say.
In further prominent family crime news, right before recording, Sam presented a very interesting story about one Frank Biden. Now, I don't really appreciate the title of this, I believe it's Daily Mail article, which is kind of like, well, five Bidens have gone to rehab. It's like, so what? Like, that's okay.
No, if it's 5 in caps members of Joe Biden's family have been to rehab.
That's okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Got a gigantic family. It's not like that many. It's the
a
US.
family
like,
has alcoholism in its genes. Oh, wow.
But
yeah,
you know that
it's a take.
Yeah, it's definitely a little ableist. It's kind of fucked up. But if you want the straight dirt on what's on Hunter Biden's laptop, you have to go to the Daily Mail, because they're the only cranks willing to publish this. None of the, like, not to do the Glenn Greenwald nonsense, but like legitimately, no one in like any liberal mainstream publication is ever going to mention Hunter Biden. They just pretend he doesn't exist. His book didn't sell any numbers at all. Anytime he's on TV, he was on like Kimmel being like, yeah, man, I'm a recovering addict and stuff like that. And I was just like, no, they're just gonna pretend he doesn't exist.
I listened to his entire Mark Maron interview. It was so fucking funny, but because it was just so straight. And then he's like, Mark, I'm like a huge fan of yours, dude.
Oh my God.
That sounds like a James Adomian sketch or something. Like I can't take that seriously. But yeah, but either way, if you want the straight dirt on the Biden family, and especially on what's on Hunter's laptop, you got to go to the Daily Mail. And this was a messy article just talking about everything they had found out about, like all 9,000 of Biden's, drunk family members. Like his brother Frank killed someone plowing through them at 80 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour zone, cruising on the 101 in Southern California, drunk with his friend and 2 women they had picked up.
Oh my
God. What?
Yeah.
No, they say Joe Biden is the griever in chief, right?
Yeah, he's grieving for everybody because his family's done a number on
family's like vehicular killing people.
Is this clearly it's a guy who shouldn't be driving, but is he like a much older person, or is he just like a fucking idiot?
This was a while ago. This was like about 20 years ago.
I think we're to assume he was a younger man.
Either way, still old enough to know not to plow through.
Now, Andrew, you have to answer for the Bidens as a resident of Wilmington, Delaware. I think that's only fair. So
yeah,
what do you have to say for yourself?
What I could say is, if you want to go right to the source, go to the mall right near me, 5 minutes away. We can go together and just walk right in and get the source files.
That's actually true. That's where the store was, right?
And you know what?
They took Hunter's computer to that store right near where you live.
Yeah, it's like a tourist attraction when people come visit.
Wilmington is equidistant between New York and DC. It might be the center of what we need to do right now. We may need to have an on-site investigation of. Oh my God, they're gonna think we're like
James
the Comet
O'Keefe style.
Yes, no, they're gonna think we're like the Comet ping pong guy or something. Like, how many people do you think descend on that? Like, just a fucking computer repair store?
Probably a lot of annoying people.
Honestly,
you probably get like 10 questions.
All right, but can you say the detail about Frank Biden that I found very funny?
Yeah, the main thing that has stood out to me thus far, despite the fact that Biden's whole family has issues with drugs, which more to power to them, I suppose, was one instance in 2003 when Frank Biden was arrested for petty theft at a Blockbuster in Pompano Beach, Florida, which already it's going to be good shit. So I'm quoting from the Daily Mail here.
Hell yes.
He was arguing with store workers who called police, and when he was searched, he had DVDs of Rabbit Proof Fence, and they stuffed down his pants. Quote, the defendant's intention was to exit the store without paying for the above DVDs, end quote, said one of the arresting officers on scene.
Wait, isn't Rabbit Proof Fence like a Holocaust movie? Andrew, can you Google that?
Sure, yeah. I thought you were saying like I misunderstood it. I thought you were saying like he had a rabbit foot like lucky talisman in his pants or something.
No,
and
that's
was
the
just
film.
I thought it was like a fetish or something. I'll do that.
I will read the synopsis of Rabbit Proof Fence. 3 mixed race girls are torn brutally from their Aboriginal mother and sent over 1,000 miles away to a training camp for domestic workers as part of a government policy to integrate them into white society.
Why did he feel the need to take this DVD and put it in his pants?
He's like, I've heard this movie is great. I need it.
The accolades on Wikipedia, I just keeps going and going, and I'm not even being ironic here. It's a winner.
I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying, why did Frank Biden feel the need to steal it and sully it by putting it in his trousers?
Well, as the arresting officers on scene said, his intention was to exit the store without paying for the DVDs. Thanks for clearing that up.
Thank you.
I don't know. If your family is in that kind of position politically, do you really can you just pay for one DVD? Come on.
You can just rent it.
Or rent it. Yeah, even rent it. Like what's the thing? Those rectangle red things where you can rent movies?
The Redbox.
Redbox, yeah. Redbox it.
Yeah, sure. This is an ad for Redbox. No,
that was
not.
It was in 2003. They didn't have that kind of sophisticated technology.
They had Blockbuster. It wasn't that expensive to rent Rabbit Proof Fence.
Yeah, Blockbuster was around 2003. In fact, it was probably easier to rent than nowadays.
Look, the younger Bidens were all too busy smoking weed. Like Ashley Blazer Biden, literally my fellow Tulane grad, was arrested on Tulane's campus at the age of 18 for possession of marijuana, posted bail. The usual Tulane kid special. But I don't know. I mean, I don't mean to shame his family or anything, but it is like very funny how messy they are. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fucking reality show, just like the fucking Trump family. It's all the same shit. Maybe Bernie was just too boring for America, huh?
They were trying to say he was like a deadbeat dad and stuff in the past. I was just like, okay, whatever. We're just saying anything at this point.
So someone tweeted at me once, Bernie stole cable, and I was like, that's literally cool. What are you fucking talking about?
Yeah, what is that supposed to prove?
Yeah, Bernie Sanders used LimeWire once.
He downloaded Enter Sandman on LimeWire.
With Bonsai Buddy and Kazaa and all the other ones.
I have to issue some corrections from the last episode. I'm
shocked. I'm blown away.
Stop it. I'm issuing them because no, that's not why you're here. So David Cross, Andrew. I said David Cross wasn't Jewish. David Cross was raised Jewish, but considers himself an atheist. So perhaps that's why he plays so many Jewish characters.
Fucking a toda so.
Yeah, I know. That's a correction. Cross was raised Jewish. I also attributed the quote, "Are you talking to me?" to Raging Bull, when it is, of course, from the film Taxi Driver. I feel great shame about that mix-up. We've even done an episode on Taxi Driver from the archives, if I can remember.
Yeah, I remember.
I think we compared it to the incel phenomenon early on when that became a.
This is the same discussion. Taxi Driver of PlayStation fame.
No, you're thinking of Crazy Taxi.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Which we should do.
Robert De Niro in Robert De Niro in the film version of Crazy Taxi,
playing like Axel or whatever. Do you remember all the hideous different characters you could play as in Crazy Taxi? There's like one old guy named Gus or something. Oh man, whatever, fine.
I don't remember.
The fans
again.
know.
sorry,
The
I'm
listeners are
sorry.
screaming at you guys.
I was more
Let
Simpsons
them
hit and run.
let them scream. Yeah, Simpsons Hit and Run was good.
Classic.
Yeah, a
right,
complete
listen.
rip off of Crazy Taxi, but like,
All right, let's hold on a second.
and like
not
GTA, like, but it's fine. All right, I'm in the race for 420 Twitter followers. I'm still in this race. We're still in this. We are monitoring the situation. 5 more. So if 5 of our listeners who don't follow me, we can end this today. The race to
Only
420.
5?
I'm at 415, I believe, as of recording. So this is the race to 420. Let's get us there at SPAVENTACULAR on Twitter, at Spaventacular. This is the race to 420. Thank you.
I'm heavily resisting the urge to unfollow you so that you go down to
Yeah.
How
14.
dare you?
That sounds like an electoral, like college, like sort of segment, like Spaventacular, the race to 420. More soon.
That is the ad for the show.
The race
Yeah.
to 420 is how I feel the first few weeks in April.
Nice.
Yeah, blaze it.
All right, I'm gonna share my screen now, and we are gonna talk about the fireworks in Los Angeles, folks.
This is good shit. I like this. Fireworks
Cool.
also just great conversation topic, just in general.
Okay. So I'm gonna play this video and we can talk over it.
Shout out to
Omaha, the
God.
third
Oh, no.
arrested this weekend by special agents
Jesus.
with the ATF. The 26-year-old
That's supposed to be
was
fireworks?
arrested after
It's all fireworks. No,
What
it's
is
like
going on here?
that explosion goes up like 40 feet, like 40, 50 feet in the air for the listeners.
And they had to name it Sky Candy.
Various types of fireworks, and that he brought them back to his
So
home.
they
Aliens-
clearly are blaming the
aliens
guy
confirmed.
who bought the fireworks.
Yeah, they're showing the fireworks being like carted away as if it's like drug contraband or something. Oh,
I'm just replaying the beginning of this video.
The third was arrested this weekend by special agents
God
with the
damn.
ATF.
All right, what do we think about this? I'm just gonna let it play a couple more times. Well, Sam, can you provide further context about what happened?
okay, so supposedly there is a guy selling illegal fireworks, which is based. I mean, who cares? Fireworks actually probably net bad for the environment, but like they're cool, so whatever. We'll build this out later. Either way, selling illegal fireworks, honestly, not a crime in my book. The cops, as a PR stunt, so they seized them and then detonated them in the middle of a black neighborhood in Los Angeles, and it like injured a ton of people. But now, like the press is uncritically kind of acting like the seller set off the fireworks when the police did it in this like
A lot of passive voice.
very poorly thought out PR stunt. Like,
Did you see this? The other, and apparently people were injured.
There's a
like,
car.
shrapnel went
Clearly,
everywhere.
people were injured. I mean, look at this.
Damage to the local property. Like,
for the listeners,
Oh.
a car is like hurled to the side of the like totaled by this explosion. Like what were they thinking?
Yeah, wait, what happened? How did this happen? I'm sorry. They went off?
they seized
No,
a bunch
they
of
did it on
fireworks, and
purpose.
then they did a controlled like detonation, and
Not
then
that
it went
Controlled, yeah.
It went out of control. I don't know.
I don't know. I just want to say, did you see the picture of the alien on that fireworks? I'm just saying, was that a coincidence?
It's
You
very
blame this on the
explicit.
DoD aliens that we
Yeah.
brought up last time. The
That's what we
aliens that came to or making contact with the US to work for the DoD so we can fight Russia.
We are believers
Oh my
in
God.
the Russian, the Russian
Imagine-
intelligence theory of, the UFOs are in fact Russian missiles.
Imagine aliens come and they just work for the DEA and that's it.
That would really suck. That would really be a fucking.
That'd be a
bummer.
bummer.
The opposite of that fucking movie, Paul. Remember that movie where Seth Rogen is like a smoking weed alien?
No, I do
Did you
not.
make
That's
this up?
basically that. So it would be him as a weed cop. I mean, the LAPD seems to be fucking up all the time, just like the NYPD, just like any other police
Mhm.
department. But this is like pretty embarrassing, and the news coverage of it is such like small town, or not small town, but like local news sort of like editorializing. It's breathtaking when you watch the video that they're trying to blame it on the guy who bought the fireworks.
Yeah, we need to not to do
Oh,
this, but like we need to talk about how like in big cities, the local news has this insufferable like twee kind of like in the neighborhood today. It's like, okay, shut the fuck up. Like this is, I don't know. We're not in like bumfuck or something. Like you're in like New York City. You're like Los Angeles. Like, I don't know. Act like it's took place somewhere where like a ton of people live. I mean, not to like give any more bloated self-importance to those cities or anything, but there's a reason people care about them. Like there's a lot of people there.
New York #1.
Yeah, I'm reading that 22 families had to evacuate after that. So these are 22 individual families that don't have a place to live. Yeah, it's not like they're at a hotel right now. I mean, maybe someone paid for a hotel. I doubt it, but
I don't know. Hopefully there's like a GoFundMe we can link to or something. But
yeah, I'm looking for it right now.
Christ. Yeah, I can't imagine. And of course now like the conspiracy theorist in me is starting to think like, oh, so you just accidentally blew up a black neighborhood, like in Los Angeles. The LAPD did this.
Man, I'm on the GoFundMe right now. I mean, the good news is they have 27,000 raised of their $25,000 goal, and it's got a lot of popularity. But the picture of one of the victims here is heartbreaking. Honestly,
Can you describe it?
I don't even know if you should put this on.
All right, don't. How about not? How about not?
No, I won't describe it. But clearly,
oh my god! Whoa! Sam has seen it. No.
I mean, okay. Imagine someone set off a firework in front of your face, like 6 inches away. That's what it looks like.
It would skin you or something. It would be horrifying. It would be a nightmare. All right, do we want to go into the next nightmare, or are we done talking about this?
Yeah.
All right, I'm sharing my screen again. Fuck the police. Fuck the LAPD. You suck ass. Now we've got the fireball in the Gulf of Mexico.
Sauron.
It may look just like a scene from a disaster.
Okay, it looks kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie.
It looks really cool.
Yeah, it does look like it's from a disaster movie. That's cool.
In the Gulf of Mexico,
It looks like Godzilla's about to come out. Like this is so cool. Or it's like it looks like Dragon Ball Z. Like it fucking rocks.
This looks like
it's an environmental disaster, by the way.
It
in
does
Warhammer,
look like
this
hell
would be
opening up. Damn.
This is like a portal to the chaos dimension in Warhammer right now, or like a Dungeons and Dragons summoning circle. It looks really cool.
5 hours until it was eventually extinguished. They put out.
I just am very critical of all the takes online about how, why are they putting out fire in water with more water? It's like,
the oil spill understander has logged on.
There is oil that is on fire.
What are you gonna do about it, you fucking idiot? Idiot.
People on
you
Twitter.
go put out the fucking burning patch in the ocean. Like, shut the fuck up. It's like bigger than the. You can't see from the like size of the ships, like from the framing of the video, how massive that like burning hole is. Like. What would you would never come on, ridiculous.
No. So I don't know. People were kind of talking about that as if it was like some indication of some like hellish, like
oh my god.
Sort of end of days sort of metaphor. Are we feeling that way, or do we feel like we have a chance?
I'm a converted Jehovah's Witness after seeing that. I think it's over.
Yeah, it's over. It's over.
I for one remain optimistic.
No, that's good. Read some Naomi Klein. She kind of guides you, how to think about this stuff. She's very good.
Okay, if you're into like really cool ocean videos, the other really cool ocean video I have is they were like testing an aircraft carrier or something, like the US Army, obviously, and they detonated like this 40,000 ton or something gigantic explosion, and it creates like a shock wave that like just like ripples, like it like goes like thousands of miles or something. It's so fucking dope. I don't know if anyone's seen it, but it looked like Dragon Ball Z. I recommend it to the listeners.
No, that's very, very cool. All right, here's another thing. You guys don't like to talk much about sports, but this is something I feel like we have to talk about because it involves Sam's local team, the Washington football team.
Right.
And I think, I'm going to say it, the Redskins was their former name. You know, they said it on TV for 100 years. So what? We're gonna pretend it never existed and now just call them, say, oh no, we're not even gonna give the team a name because this old name was so good and it means so much to us that we're just gonna call ourselves the Washington Football Team. Well, looks like their asshole billionaire fucking moron CEO Dan Snyder finally got some fucking punishment and was fined $10 million for fostering a workplace culture where sexual harassment, bullying, and intimidation were commonplace. And his wife is now co-CEO of the team, the cuck. Gentlemen.
Oh man, they're letting broads own football teams now. Come on, man.
Wait, so all this stuff happened while he was the owner or whatever it is.
He's
you
still
are
the
in
owner.
the sports team. He's still the owner.
There was apparently no risk of him losing the ownership. Like that wasn't even part of the discussion.
Even with
for, like,
all
how he was
the
gonna be
sexual
punished.
allegations. And then
It wasn't. I don't know if they were allegations against him specifically or more that
okay.
it
Just
was
like
a
under his
permissive
watch.
atmosphere. Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
I see.
I think if there were sexual allegations against him specifically, he'd probably be out. Honestly, at this point.
I thought that's what was happening, and then it's like he's out, but his wife's in, and I'm like, well, they're a family. I don't know.
No, they're now like co-CEO. Like I saw that and was just like, this guy must just absolutely hate this to have to share this with his wife. You know, like football guys are not like Sam. Remember football guys? Like we used to play football. Like football guys like don't like
Football guys are terrible.
They're not. It's not that they're terrible. It's just like they don't like to fucking be deferential to anyone.
Oh my parents said that the worst parents in like kids sports though are the little league parents. Like the football parents were actually comparatively pretty nice is what I've heard, but I could be wrong. That may have changed since then. Either way, do you guys know about how I almost worked at Dan Snyder's house in Potomac, Maryland?
Please enlighten me. I forgot about this completely, but now I do remember you telling me this.
So when I first moved up to like the DC area, they I like joined it, signed up with a temp agency, and they placed me in like like law firms and like a couple other just offices to be like an office dipshit for like $16 an hour or something. But either way, I got one of the jobs that they submitted me for was to manage the contractors who work on Dan Snyder's house in Potomac, Maryland. I have no idea why they thought I would like be a good fit for this job. It's not the
Have you ever
first
worked
time
in like construction? Like
No, just like coming out of nowhere. Like
it's super random.
Yeah.
I have like worked in food service in the past, so maybe they just assumed that this temp lady was not the only person who assumed I was like had contracting experience. So either way, they submitted me for this job and it like required like 4 weeks out of the year to spend in Aspen, Colorado, and I would have to watch his kids all the time and shit. And I was just,
what
I was
the
very,
fuck?
it was going to pay a ton of money, but I did not get the job.
So I don't know. Maybe I would have done it.
I
mean,
think that you would
a
have been
month in
entering a
Aspen?
toxic workplace culture.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I'm glad I didn't take the job.
Sorry, I have temporal memory. I forgot about the previous topic. I just thought Colorado, cool.
Yeah, that was the point of the whole story, is that Colorado, especially Aspen.
Is that
coolest part of
the
Colorado.
point of the story? The point of this bringing up the Washington football team and the white Dan Snyder's getting cucked is literally just so to hear how great Colorado is. Thank you for taking out of that story exactly what we would want.
I'm just a simple listener. Thank you.
You're more than a listener today, Andrew, as I've asked you to participate by giving us opinions on OkCupid, because I haven't been on the site in some time, and just not for too long because we have a few more substantive topics, but we don't talk about dating much on this show. So
Okay.
Andrew, enlighten us. What's it like online?
I'm glad that this isn't wedged between the assassination and another topic, but I don't know. I've been on the platform for at this point over 10 years, I guess. It just, they make you pay for every single thing possible. Like
what?
Like, you used to be able to set preferences. Like, I don't want to.
Only white people.
Yeah. I mean,
Andrew's preferred.
They literally had
preference.
that, I think.
I think you could. Maybe you still can.
No,
But more like, if you don't want to be in a relationship with someone who drinks or smokes or that sort of thing, like you can do that, like preference. But now like everything is gated beyond like $8.99 a month or whatever. It's just I hate dating because it's just very artificial. Just all these apps swiping on people's faces. There's an app that I've been mock developing to try and compete with these things, but I don't think
Really?
you don't want to hear about that.
Well,
No, we want to
kinda
hear all about
Okay, just give us the log line. What's the log line?
Andrew date. What's it called?
It's called Pixlr, and the idea here is that you don't see the
pixelated photo of your penis.
well, it's a pixelated photo of the head. Maybe you could call it a penis. I don't know. It's someone's head, and their entire picture is pixelated. And the more you unlock matches with somebody, like you're just sending, you say like, "Hello, I'm Andrew. We like the same thing." That unlocks a part of the picture, so like you get to see your face over time.
Nobody better steal this idea.
It's interest-based matchmaking instead of just aesthetic finger swipe matchmaking, which is kind of the downfall of our culture and humanity. Maybe, I don't know.
I like this.
Thank you.
It evens the playing field for ugly people, and as a proud representative of the ugly community, I'm in favor of it.
Yeah, just like I'm not agreeing with you, by the way, but I'm just saying in general. Yeah.
Yeah, Sam, you are ugly. I mean, just this app's for you, man.
No, but like people are artificial, but like if you have a really good connection with somebody, maybe you're more likely to go on a date with them than if you just saw like 5 staged pictures. So that was the idea.
I like it. Well, okay, let's move on to big tech. China's reining in of big tech, and specifically Jack Ma, the Jeff Bezos, let's say, as Sam put it to me, of China. And it seems that the CCP has put some fists down upon him, on Jack Ma. So what is going on here? And Andrew has some insight into he's done some research into Alibaba. So I would like to hear about that as well. So Sam, why don't you start?
Sure. As far as I know, it's just that Jack Ma was very much a willing sort of, I don't want to say sycophant, but like a willing face of Chinese capitalist development in the last and business innovation specifically.
Can you compare him to like Musk in that way? He's sort of like a technocrat cheerleader.
Yeah, because also Jack Ma's cool. He's like he kind of has more of like the Elon Musk vibe. He might actually, I think he's cooler than Elon Musk, and he's definitely
Elon's not cool. That's not the position of the show.
Okay,
the official position.
The official position of this show is that being a billionaire is dope, and Jack Ma is the coolest dude alive.
Shut the fuck up.
Anyway, so
Jack Ma is kind of cool though. Oh wow.
Hang on.
Sam's background is now Xi Jinping again.
Have you seen the picture of Jack Ma with the guitar? I mean,
Mao?
come on.
It is Mao and Xi Jinping on a locket together.
I actually like that a lot.
It's kind of cute.
But continue, Sam, with what you were saying. Kind of, break it down, Jack Ma and his like role and what this all sort of means, and why the U.S. would never do this.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Ma is, I don't know, it's hard to get a read on him. He's a really smart guy, definitely a smart businessman, but I don't know. I don't get, well, I think he's kind of an experiment that the Chinese government is doing in allowing someone like a billionaire inventor with a more or less privately developed like wealth, allowing someone like that to have power in China, especially in terms of China's narrative about itself, and letting him be the kind of spokesperson for Chinese development and like the private sector is, I think, an experiment. And like any other experiment, the Chinese government is ready to call it off whenever they feel like it's not working out for them. And I think that might be happening with Jack Ma. But yeah, he's an interesting figure. He's definitely similar to Jeff Bezos, because Andrew, tell us more about like Alibaba's kind of sprawling business enterprise. Ooh. But my understanding is that in China, basically everyone uses Alipay on their cell phone, on their smartphone,
is Ma
to pay
the CEO?
for stuff. And Ma is like the founder and all that. Yeah.
You can consider him like a extremely successful, the most successful startup founder,
Yeah.
how it presented in Alibaba. And I think Ant Tech is the founding company or something like that. But I have a quick quiz for you.
Sure.
And this is going to tie into what we're talking about. Do you know what the biggest US shopping holiday is? Not that you necessarily care.
Black Friday?
Is that Sam? Do you have an answer here?
Biggest US shopping day. It's so if it, obviously I'm supposed to think it's Black Friday, but it's not.
You are correct. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm guessing it's,
Sorry,
is it like cyber? Is it like cyber? Not what do you not Cyber
Cyber
Monday?
Monday?
What do you call
What?
like the day after
the
Christmas?
Amazon thing?
Yeah, no, there's the Saturday before Christmas. I hate the terminology here, but I think it's called Super Saturday. Then you also have
Okay.
Cyber Monday. And, traditionally Black Friday had been very, very popular, but recently it had been Cyber Monday. I think one time it was Super Saturday. All that is to say, there is an event. The biggest shopping day in the world is not any of these things, actually. It's called Singles Day. It's on 11/11 to celebrate bachelors, people not in relationships. And, Alibaba is an e-commerce company. People say it's the Amazon of China. So
Right.
imagine
my hat for the audience so you can see like removing the veil.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
And for the audience, this is Jack Ma. This is what Andrew was referring to.
Wow.
That
This
was
is him,
exactly.
rocking.
That is
Yeah.
very
No,
charismatic guy.
He's like
before,
he's actually cool and has like stage presence.
actually does look
know.
kind of cool.
So he's got a guitar.
I mean, he was kind of like lame. You could say he looks kind of lame, but I don't know. I'm kind of here for his like his glasses.
I would hate it if it was Musk, but if it was
Yeah.
Elon Musk, but Jack Ma seems okay. I don't know.
So with Ma, people think he's a hostage of the government because he really hasn't been making regular appearances for 6 months, but I will get to that in a second. The thing I was going to close on is that Singles Day, Alibaba, the amount of money it takes in a single day is in the billions, like it's something like above 50 billion, maybe it's 80 billion or something. That is to say, it takes in more money than Cyber Monday and Black Friday combined, twice the size of both of those. So imagine that in China, the startup founder of sort of that sprawling enterprise, who I believe has since stepped down, and he was claiming, we're going to have the biggest IPO in history. Then 3 days later, like during that conference, it was like the 2020 bond conference, he said a lot of things that, people who were in the audience from the government did not like. They just immediately went to work shutting him down. And then over the next 6 months to the present, he's just been a hostage, is what people think. Like, there's one thing where he was in a video call with Vladimir Putin, and it's just hit a tile of him for about 60 minutes, and he's not really responding to anything that's going on. Which, like, could it be just a recording of him, and they're just trying to put him into the conversation to make people think that he's okay? Because it seemed like he wasn't interacting with really the event at all. I didn't watch the event, by the way. This is just kind of
was he holding up a newspaper with today's date?
No, but
he was doing a Reddit and AMA with this is you/Jack Ma.
But this is all to say, like, he's this sort of charismatic, like, wacky person that you see in front of you here on the screen. In the time since that conference, the crackdown, like, apparently his personality has changed. He's not in contact with anybody. Like, with all the smartphones in China, like, nobody's been able to get a picture of him. And like, you would take a picture of this guy. I mean, come on, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's pretty photogenic.
Yeah.
It was very suspicious, very interesting, actually. So it was a listener submitted topic, and I learned quite a lot.
Yeah. Thanks, Josh, for sending that one in. And also thanks, Connor, for sending in the Washington football team story. I think Ryan sent in the Ocean Fireball story. And, we've gotten a lot of listener submissions this episode. So I think we have an additional one to end the show. But talk more about Alibaba. Yeah, I want to understand this. So it's like Amazon, but
you just imagine
it's
Amazon
like Amazon
China
and PayPal. It's
Right.
like Amazon
Okay.
and PayPal put together. Like, and Andrew, you're correct to like mention the scale, because I mean, I'm always the person who repeats that, the number one rule of Chinese like society and history is that there are a lot more Chinese people than anywhere else in the world, except for India. So it's a gigantic it's also at the heart of we love to talk about how the Chinese Communist Party did lift more people out of poverty than any other government in history ever, bar none, because it's like hundreds of millions of people. Sorry, it's just the way the numbers work. I'm not, you can say what you will about them, but you can't dispute
No,
that.
it's just the picture behind you while you're trying to talk to this is really the problem I'm having.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I don't mean to offend my muse, President Xi, so I should get him back up there. But either way, yeah, like it is like so much bigger. So it is like kind of glaring to have him like not be there or just kind of change his vibe. But I think I don't know. In general, I like my take on it is that like people act like Xi Jinping is this like strong man and like this unique authoritarian, and I'm like, I don't know. I think like his predecessors were just like China's kind of experiment with like loosening up, and like anything else, they will change direction if depending on how they see fit, and we don't really get to know. So I don't know. It's definitely something with like a lot of intrigue, but it's hard to have like a definitive take on it.
Right. I mean, sort of like with the Haitian president. I mean, what can we really say?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
we could say what happened that people think happened, but we don't really know.
and thanks to Josh for sending me a paywalled Financial Times article about Jack Ma.
Can I clear up a scandal involving myself?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's been a scandal for maybe about 10 years here.
Tell President Xi what's on your mind.
Yeah, of course. I happen to know this listener, and about 10 years ago, I lived near him, and I was under the impression that I could use his internet for free all summer. And at the end of the summer, he said, "Andrew, hope you enjoyed all that free internet." And I don't think he ever forgave me. So I'd like to say this is a misunderstanding. I would be happy to pay you interest. I'm not going to name any names, but it had to be said.
I'm gonna make sure he hears this clip.
Yeah, he'll know what I'm talking about. He's been seething about it for at least 10 years.
Were you using the internet for anything weird?
I mean, I always use the internet for things that are weird.
Okay.
This is 2013 me, so probably weirder.
I just want to move on.
Yeah, please, let's move on.
Demented search history of your 2013 self. The last listener submitted topic and last topic of the day. Unless you want to fucking talk about Waluigi.
Who's Waluigi?
All right, we're not doing it. Is the Las Vegas shooting?
Oh my god!
Committed by Waluigi.
Waluigi to the Las Vegas shooting.
This is so inappropriate.
Look, no, it's not. We're talking about it. Guess what? Okay, I even took some notes about this.
Hey, we push boundaries on this show. Okay.
So-
I'm sorry.
So you have Stephen Paddock, the shooter. Naming him, I think, is important because that's part of understanding the story is who the fuck is this guy. So people talk about like other mass shootings, like Pulse nightclub shooting, for very good reason, because especially with that case, that was also a hate crime against LGBTQ people. With this though, with the Las Vegas shooting, it did kind of get buried by the media, and I think a big part of that is the tourism industry of Las Vegas and Mandalay Bay specifically. That is why it is not associated with the biggest mass shooting in American history.
There's nothing unsafe about walking around like in a state where there's pretty lax gun laws with lots of high-rise buildings that people could be inside of while you just wander the streets freely with lots of other people on the surrounding lowlands. Nothing could go wrong there.
Sam, can you get the numbers? How many were wounded and shot that day? So it was a mass shooting.
I have the numbers
for
here.
the Mandalay. Andrew's got the stats. What do you got?
So it's actually the biggest, U.S. mass shooting at 58 deaths, not including Paddock. Not that we should include him. And wow, I mean, I was re-listening to a news article all the time that said about 500 injuries, but the Wikipedia article here has about 869 injuries in total. And there were 12 rounds over the course of 12 minutes. 12 bursts, which included like hundreds of rounds just precise and then scattered. It was really,
and like half of the injuries were from the gun. It wasn't just like the panic, which is usually
Sure,
what
yeah.
accounts for that. It was from gunfire. So like,
Because they were
that's
all
a
like
ton of people getting hit
semi-automatic,
by.
right?
That's a ton of people getting hit with a ton of bullets. Is what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
Like that's insane. The fact that that's allowed. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's funny because you know, I don't think it's like deterred tourism to Nevada or to Las Vegas at all. But I mean, Dan, you make a good point. I mean, like this should scare anybody who's this could have who could have seen this coming. I mean, maybe the law enforcement, but like who
Right.
out of those people who were shot at could have seen this coming? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Andrew, you had something?
Yeah, I was gonna say I actually found some figures, and there was a New York Times video where they took all of the footage from all the different sources, about 30 different sources, and then put it together in sort of a timeline, and then did a visual recreation, and it was harrowing. Some of the stats that they had was, I believe, about 900 rounds shot total, and then 200 in the hallway because there was someone from the staff who he was engaging with at the time too, and then 10 rounds per second. I mean, there was about 30 guns in his suite. There something like 30 high capacity magazines there, which could hold anywhere from like 2 to 100 plus rounds. I mean, just an insane amount that, I mean, and there's really, it's legal to have these things too, which is,
And to be clear, no motive, no suicide note. There's, theories that he was working with the Saudis, that they apparently bought out the floor above that weekend or something. But I think that's kind of,
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, no, please.
Specifically, like they interspliced a clip from his brother where they went to interview his brother and be like, "Hey, what's going on? Did he have any ties to any like militias or like his religion or political leanings?" And his brother, like presumably right after, it's just like, "Yeah, he didn't do any of that stuff. I don't really know what was going on." When all these people just
Google what happened to Stephen Paddock's brother. Google what happened to Stephen Paddock's
I
brother, because
I
know it, but I want to hear your reaction to it.
So you know what I'm talking about. I actually hadn't seen that at the time. What happened to his brother?
Sam will find it.
But Vegas gunman Stephen Paddock's brother arrested in child porn probe.
Oh my.
So figure that one out.
Like, just like the way he was. Sorry,
his girlfriend was out of the country at the time. She has no idea of the motive. Again, there was no note. He committed suicide at the scene. He was a rich guy, and again, I don't really like. Was he an arms dealer for the Saudi or Arabian government? I don't know. I don't think there's enough evidence to suggest that.
Saudi Arabia already does enough fucked up shit. I mean, we know that
they need this like fucking one guy to do all this shit, and have all the guns in one room.
Yeah, I mean, like Saudi Arabia literally tweeted about like doing 9/11 to Canada when like in a meme. So I don't know. I don't think they're like that scared.
I also have something crucial to bring up. The security guard who was the first on the scene had tons of interviews booked, and then went on the Ellen DeGeneres show, Ellen, and then canceled the rest of the interviews on his tour out of nowhere. So nice. The security guard was clearly something went on there where they were like, cancel all your press, just go on Ellen. And Ellen has been
make sure you get to Ellen.
No, it all goes back to Ellen. No, just kidding. No, but I think like it was weird how the only press he was allowed to do was this, morning show. And if the feel good morning show is just very odd, and he had to cancel the rest of his press. Why wouldn't they let this guy who was the only one really on the scene and right when it happened speak?
Right.
I think because they don't want anyone to talk about this.
Well, the last thing I have on this is a tidbit I noticed in Stephen Paddock's references to pop culture. Eminem has a song called Darkness on his album Music to Be Murdered By. And the song and the accompanying music video portrays Stephen Paddock's thought process before committing the shooting, while also serving as a metaphor for Eminem's nervousness before a concert performance.
Oh, great. Really, really.
I meant that to kind of like be like a light transition, and it really kind of hit harder than I expected it to.
No, it's so sad.
Dan, help us out here.
I can help you out actually.
Well,
with
no,
something.
Andrew, did you have anything else on this though? Because I know,
I
know
did,
you
yeah,
did some
yeah.
reading. Yeah, I wanted you to get all that in.
I was struck by the security officer. It was saying, the source I was watching, a New York Times video, that he just kind of happened upon the exit door that Paddock blocked, like, because this was all premeditated. He did it 3 days in advance. He had like 60 guns between the apartment suite and his 2 homes. And so he just happens upon this door, basically seeming like a minute or 2 after Paddock initially started doing targeted shots at the audience, trying to like test what was going on.
And this was the audience was a country music festival audience.
Yeah, it was like the
in Las
Route
Vegas.
90 something country festival. I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is his timing here, he shows up seemingly just for whatever reason. And he shows up like a minute after the shots start firing. And then this causes there to be like a mini firefight between Paddock and the security officer, which lasts for about a minute. And like this minute, in addition to like all the other like exchanges he has, really causes a bunch of people to survive, because in the intermissions between the bursts that are being fired, they're able to run away. So, I mean, this guy, I think, saved a lot of people's lives. I don't know like really what was
Damn,
going on with the
crazy.
interview, but him and an engineer, I think there was an engineer there as well. You know, there are a bunch of people who really did their job that day, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, just I think it's one of those things like Epstein, like you literally will just never know. Like
Right.
Princess Diana, you know, there's all these like stories throughout recent history that like really challenge the fucking just your idea that the world is knowable in any way at all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
will Waluigi get in Super Smash Brothers? Will he not? Will we?
Okay.
I don't know. What would his Andrew? What would what's your preferred move set for Waluigi? Like, what
Like,
are
this
his?
is not
Yeah, he's got to have a tennis racket.
Yeah, I think he's got to just do like the Mario Party and like Mario.
So
tennis
Waluigi
stuff.
was actually introduced in one of the Mario parties, and it's very iconic.
I
'cause he was.
played it, I know.
Oh, right. Do
Is
you
Dan
know?
still here? I didn't realize you were still talking.
I think Dan left. So you know, he was introduced really to have a partner for Luigi. I think it was actually Mario Tennis that he was introduced, which is why you need the racket. But then
exactly.
You know,
But
then
is he
came
like
in for Mario Party.
Wario to Luigi? Like what?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
What do
he
you
is.
think? His name is
oh, I don't.
Waluigi.
Oh, I'm
Dan.
sorry.
What do you think?
I'm sorry.
Although Waluigi is sorry, Wario is in a class on his own with the WarioWare games. Those things are very fun.
Oh yeah, Wario. I also loved the Wario platformers that like I used to play those on Game Boy, like Wario Land 2. Those all were really fun. It was because you were invincible and the object was just to collect coins. It was very fun. I'm a fan of Wario ever since his appearance in Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins, which was the first first Mario game I ever played. And I don't know. I'm happy to see that there's a contingency. I used to be anti Waluigi because I was like, he's just made up for Mario Tennis and Mario Party. Like, why do we even need him? But I don't know. I like the expansion of the Mario world. I'm happy to see
the
Waluigi.
Mario lore, sure.
Exactly, the Mario extended cinematic universe.
Mhm.
I mean, I'll take this over like Loki or something.
But
Look at
will
this
we
guy.
get thank you for that background image of
That's a great picture.
Waluigi doing the tango or something?
I mean, that
Yeah,
could
he's
be
got-
his taunt for sure.
Is that like fan fiction of like sexy Waluigi?
Oh,
That's really
there's so much fan
inappropriate.
fiction, not that I've seen, but I'm sure that exists.
Yeah, I'm actually I resisted the urge to put up the Waluigi with the bisexual pride flag, but because I didn't want it to seem like I was making light of it.
Can
But
I?
Waluigi's definitely he's definitely neuroatypical. He might
yeah.
also be queer. We don't know. But we don't. It's not our business.
He's
so,
queering the narrative.
Yeah.
Can I leave you guys with one last story about
Yeah,
the
sure.
Mario
And
cinematic
then we gotta
universe?
close out. We don't want to run too far over.
Okay, I'm sorry about this. I just
No,
think
go ahead,
Quit
go ahead.
hassling the guest.
It ties in very cleanly to what we're talking about. I was watching a video last night actually about the origins of Luigi. This is just sort of the stuff that I also look into. And Charles Martinet, the voice actor for Mario, who came in to be the voice actor for this like 3D sort of representation of just like, he wasn't even voiced for a game. It's just he walks in and they're like, we need someone for this like weird animatronic like voice picture that people will walk by, sort of like a futuristic hotel thing, and you see a voice talking at you. So during this thing, everyone would talk about Luigi, and you know, he didn't have an answer. So he actually created the voice for Luigi on the spot there, and he couldn't move his jaw. So he had to clench his jaw and then create this weird voice for him. And then over time, that just became the voice of Luigi from this like weird, just like moment of just, I need to create a voice. And then Nintendo had to roll with it. Just very interesting on the origins of Luigi's voice.
It is interesting that like Charles Martinet did the voice of Mario and has done it since like Mario 64.
Yeah, for like 30 years.
But before that, Mario was like Mario talked like this. Like he was just like, hey, like I don't know why that in like the Mario Brothers movie and in like the TV show and in the game Mario Hotel, which was very obscure and random travelogue game. He has like this weird Brooklyn accent.
May I suggest a pitch? Waluigi's Mansion.
Oh.
And it's a dating show where all the women have to compete for Waluigi's love, like in Flavor of Love.
Absolutely. Sorry for taking up a little bit more time to talk about the Nintendo universe here.
Well,
that's what the fans want to hear. They don't want to hear about like all this boring shit about China or whatever. Like,
can I be so bold as to say, do you want more Waluigi content or Mario content? If you like that, tell us.
We can talk over the outro, you know. I could just play it and we can just talk.
Okay, that sounds good.
So this is Hog Planet. Please follow Sam at Wagstank, me at Spaventacular, and Andrew, plug any of your stuff.
Just happy to be here.
Yeah, definitely check out the Hog Planet Substack, hogplanet.substack.com. Yeah, we're doing this until we get bored of it.
Shit. Okay, yeah, plug the Substack, hogplanet.substack.com. We're doing this. It's Hog Planet. How do you shut this thing off?